Hey guys, this is Brian Johnson again. This is my third video actually, and the video is about how to ask for a raise. Um, this one's probably going to be a little bit longer than the other ones. I try to keep my videos around 5-6 minutes or so, but there's a lot I want to say here, and I hope all of it is helpful for you as we go along. Again, I'm a vice president of my company, and I just want to kind of relay some practicals and some things and insights that I've learned throughout my life to be able to communicate those to the black community. Mainly, I want us as a people to be more fluent, to be kinder, and again, smarter and more keen. So as far as asking for a raise, there's different types of raises that you get. There's the raise that you get typically as you learn and grow into a new position. Most employers have just milestones that as you become more of a veteran, they increase your salary accordingly because you're becoming more productive to the company as you learn more and more. Other types of raises are merit-based. There might be some kind of a goal, some type of productivity goal, or some type of sales goal, and there's often bonuses that are associated with it so that you can put more money in your pocket based off of those things. There's also promotions, obviously the traditional kind. When you become a supervisor, you typically make more money, or you become a manager above that and you make more money because you have more responsibility and you have more worth and more value to the company. Always remember this: the company is going to pay you according to the value that you bring. However, your value does not always correspond with your position. Just because you're at a particular position, you can bring more value to the company over other people that are working the exact same position as you. A caveat that I want everyone to kind of understand, and again, I've had lots of people approach me to ask about raises. Here's the thing I want you to understand. This is the wrong way or the wrong reason for why to ask for a raise. And that reason is because you're having some kind of financial difficulty at home. Just because you have bought a house, or you have a new baby, or your sister-in-law moved in and you have more expenses, does not warrant your company giving you a raise. Decisions that you make in your own personal life is not there for the company to pay for. Okay, so there's been a lot of times where I've had people approach me, Brian, I need a raise. What's going on? Well, this happened, or I bought this, or this, my car is broken, or whatever, and I need more money. Well, that's not your company's responsibility. Okay. I eventually am going to be doing a video on financial management, and it's going to be simplified, but that's going to be more targeted for those particular situations. It's not your company's burden to bail you out if you have a bad financial situation. They may, but more than likely, they're not. When you ask for a raise, you want it to be based off of productivity, merit, value, things that you bring to the company. I'll tell you a real quick story. I had an employee. He was a driver for us. He drove a truck, and he was texting while he was driving. He ended up running into the back of a school bus, and it caused a lot of damage. Very, very scary moment. One, he was texting while he was driving. Two, he obviously it caused him to have an accident. And three, he hit the back of a school bus. So reality is I probably should have fired him, but I didn't. I brought him into another position, and he was working that position for a little bit, and then he started to falter, and it was really having a hugely negative effect on our customers. And it was having such a bad effect that I couldn't keep him in that position any longer when I moved him over to another position. So I now repurposed him twice in order to make sure that I could save his job, so I didn't have to let the guy go. Well, he goes into a new position, and after he's there for maybe a couple of months, he comes into my office and he asks me for a raise because of some situations that have been going on with his daughter. And the only thing I can think of is, are you kidding me? I should have fired you twice before. I keep repositioning you because I don't want to fire you. And the first thing you want to do, is just ask me for a raise. Again, he had a home situation. That was the reason why he was asking. I gets told him negative. No, we're not going to do that. But I did offer a counter, and if he learns his new position better, we can sit down and talk about it in the future. And we'll see. That's still to be determined. But here's some right reasons. Here's some good reasons to ask for a raise. And one is that you have brought worth and value to your company. So if you watched my previous video and it talked about things you should do or how you should work when you go to work in order to get a raise, you do those things, your employer is going to notice those. Your boss, your supervisor, they're all going to notice that in you. And you're going to increase your value to them. They're going to want to keep you. You know the old adage, good help is hard to find. Well, bad help is everywhere. Anybody can be a bad employee. And we try to, as employers, you try to get rid of those guys as fast as we possibly can. If you're not a good employee, why would I give you a raise? Why would I pay you more for being a bad employee? No, I want to pay you more for being a good employee because I want to keep you. Never underestimate your attitude and how it can help or hurt you as far as getting a raise. There's a lot of people that just feel like they can talk or react to people any which way they want, and that's just who they are, and they can't change and they can't help it, and everyone should just accept them that way. Well, the problem is that, again, everyone else you're dealing with, they're all people, and if you're a jerk to them, that's okay. But the problem is that there's a lot of people out there that work really well, that are competent, and they're not jerks. And they can work with them just as fine as working with someone who is a great worker, but they happen to be a jerk. Your attitude is important, and your attitude will keep you from being able to get a raise or advance in your company. Understand what your worth is at your current position. If you're working on, say, an assembly line, and all you're doing every day is just making the donuts, there's only so much an employer can pay you for just making donuts. In order to make more, they're going to have to put you in another position that brings more value to the company. They can't pay you $100,000 a year just making donuts. Well, why? What happens if you make $100,000 a year making donuts? What happens to the person next to you? They're going to say, hey, he's making or she's making $100,000 a year making donuts. I should be getting $100,000 a year too. What happens to the price of the donuts? Price of the donuts go through the roof. What happens to the company? If your donuts aren't worth the price that you're paying for them because your labor is so expensive, you can't sell donuts, and eventually you got a business. You don't get $100,000 a year, nor does the other person get $100,000 a year anymore either, because you're being paid more than what your actual value to the company is. Keep that in mind. It's just a basic tenet, but that's very, very important as far as asking for a raise, as far as what position that you're at. You might have to step up in responsibility, even though you don't want to, in order to be able to make more money. Find out what it'll take to get promoted to the next position and figure it out. Figure out what do you need to do yourself in order to make that happen. So asking for the raise itself, here's the whole kit and caboodle, so to speak, of what it's about. Two things to remember. When you go to ask for a raise, be humble and be comfortable, okay? Ask this question. What do you need to do, or what do you need to work towards in order to get a salary increase? Don't walk into your boss's office and say, hey, I'm a hard worker and I've been doing this and I've been here for years and I'm always on time. I deserve a raise. Ask, what should you be working towards in order to get a raise or to get a salary increase? That puts the thought in your boss's mind already. Hey, this person has some ambition. They want to make more money. They want to help the company be more productive. It's a win-win. You help the company helps you by giving you more money because you bring more productivity, okay? If you're a hard worker and you always show up on time, trust me, your boss already knows that, okay? You don't need to remind them of that. And those honestly aren't things that are going to get you a raise. Everyone should be showing up on time. Everyone should be working hard. So just because you do that, that's not exceptional. That's the rule, okay? Know your worth and be prepared to walk. So you go in and you say, hey, what can I do in order to be able to make more money? And they give you some answers that you don't like. Okay, well, know what you're worth. Know what you can make at other companies that are similar. And also be prepared to walk. Don't threaten. Don't say, hey, if you don't give me a raise, I'm going to leave. You don't need to do that. All you need to do is say, hey, I appreciate your time. And then you start looking and preparing to leave. If you make the threat, you're going to back them into a corner, and no one, including yourself, likes an ultimatum. Now you've taken something that should have just been considered professionally, and you've made it personal. If you don't give me the raise, I'm going to walk. And the first thing that person's thinking is, well, you're not going to make any demands of me. You go ahead and walk then, okay? So you go in, you ask your questions. If they're not going to give you the raise, understand how much you're worth, understand your value. If you've been working, like I explained in the last video, this entire time, every employer out there is going to love you, and they're going to want to bring you on board. You don't have to stay in a situation that's not going to pay you what you're worth. There could be all kinds of reasons why you don't get the raise. Don't take it personal. It could be that your company is poorly run and it's in a bad financial crunch. They can't afford to give raises. It could be that your boss is just really stingy. Again, know your worth. If you're valuable, there's someplace else that you can go and get paid what you're supposed to get paid. But don't be afraid to ask. Know what your value is. Guys, thanks again for listening. I hope this helps. My name is Brian Johnson. Please like and subscribe below. Thanks.